Okay, let's unpack this. We are diving into gluten disorders today, and well, the whole gluten-free diet phenomenon. It's huge.
It really is. And our mission here is to try and deconstruct that common phrase gluten allergy, which isn't quite right medically, and figure out why this diet is now this massive market, way bigger than the actual number of people who medically need it.
Right, that's the paradox, isn't it? You've got these, what, three distinct medical conditions, but they all get kind of lumped together. Maybe we should quickly walk through what they actually are.
Absolutely. That distinction is crucial. We generally talk about gluten-related disorders. So number one, celiac disease, CD.
Okay.
This is a serious autoimmune disorder. Your body basically attacks your small intestine when you eat gluten, specifically certain peptides like gliadin. It causes real damage, villus atrophy.
And that's what, about 1 in 133 people needs a lifelong gluten-free diet, no messing around.
Exactly. Strict, lifelong. That's celiac. Then number two is wheat allergy, WA.
Which is different, right? Not autoimmune.
Totally different. This is a classic allergy, like a peanut allergy. It's an IgE-mediated response, happens fast, minutes to maybe a couple of hours after eating wheat.
And this is the one that can be really dangerous quickly, like anaphylaxis.
Yes, potentially life-threatening anaphylaxis.
Yeah.
It's a reaction to various proteins in wheat, not just gluten.
Okay, so celiac is autoimmune damage. Wheat allergy is a fast allergic reaction. What's the third one? The fuzzy one.
Ah, yes. Non-celiac gluten sensitivity, or NCGS. This is tricky because it's what we call a diagnosis of exclusion.
Meaning you rule out the other two first.
Precisely. People report symptoms, bloating, headaches, brain fog, fatigue that genuinely get better when they stop eating gluten. But crucially, they don't have the autoimmune markers of celiac or the IgE antibodies of a wheat allergy.
So, what is causing it then? Is it actually the gluten?
Well, maybe not always. That's the ongoing research. It could be other components in wheat, maybe things called ATIs, or perhaps those fermentable carbs, the FODMPs, that are the real culprits for some people with NCGS.
Okay, so you got these three distinct things: celiac, wheat allergy, and CGS. But then you have this, like, multi-billion-dollar gluten-free industry selling to everyone. How does that compute?
Yeah, that's the core paradox. The actual diagnosed medical need, if you add up CD, WA, and definite NCGS, is a relatively small slice of the population, maybe 2–8% overall. But estimates suggest, and this is staggering, that maybe 83% of people who actually have celiac disease in the U.S. are walking around undiagnosed. It's called the celiac iceberg. A huge hidden public health issue.
Wow, so there's a genuine need not being met, while millions of other people, perfectly healthy people, are going gluten-free voluntarily. Why?
A few big reasons. There's this powerful health halo effect, this idea that gluten-free automatically means healthier, which isn't necessarily true.
And the weight loss thing.
Right. People think it helps with weight loss. Sometimes it does, but usually only because they're cutting out, calorie-dense processed stuff like cakes and pizza, not because gluten itself was the problem.
Plus, celebrities and social media pushing it constantly.
Absolutely. Think Miley Cyrus, Lady Gaga. It gets amplified massively. It's almost like this huge accidental population screening test,
Yeah.
People try it because it's trendy, and some do feel better maybe uncovering undiagnosed NCGS or even celiac.
But for the average person, the worried well, who don't have a condition, is there a downside to just jumping on the bandwagon nutritionally?
Oh, definitely. Many processed gluten-free replacement foods are actually nutritionally inferior. They often pack in more sugar and calories. We found something like 378 kilocal versus 352 per 100 grams, just to make them taste okay.
More calories, more sugar.
And they're often not fortified with essential nutrients like B vitamins and iron, which regular grain products usually are. So you risk deficiencies if you're not careful.
Okay, that's the nutritional side. But you mentioned something earlier. The biggest danger might be how people adopt the diet.
Yes, this is critical. The absolute worst thing you can do if you suspect you have symptoms is to just stop eating gluten on your own before getting medically tested.
Why? Because it messes up the tests.
Exactly. If you stop gluten, your celiac antibody levels can drop back to normal, and any gut damage might start healing. So when you finally go for testing,
False negative.
false negative, you get told you don't have celiac, even if you do. And that leaves you with an untreated autoimmune disease, risking serious long-term complications, osteoporosis, infertility, even intestinal cancers, all because the fad encouraged self-diagnosis first.
So the takeaway seems pretty clear then.
I think so. Look, the gluten-free trend is largely a marketing phenomenon for sure, but underneath it, it's accidentally highlighting a massive failure in actually diagnosing celiac disease in the people who genuinely have it.
So for you listening, if you have symptoms, if you suspect something's wrong, the single most important thing.
See a doctor. Get tested before you change your diet. Don't self-diagnose based on a trend.
Right. And here's maybe a final thought to chew on. We know diets rich in whole grains, yes, including the ones with gluten, are consistently linked to lower risks of major things like heart disease and stroke.
That's well established.
So, by jumping on the gluten-free bandwagon unnecessarily, often swapping whole grains for these processed, less nutritious alternatives, could the worried well actually be trading a phantom risk for a potentially real increased risk of other chronic diseases down the line? Something to think about.